Hi guys. So the Division came out a week ago around, and since then there have been a few things that people have liked about it and a few things people haven't liked about it, but it has actually gotten more negative reviews than I think it deserves. So this video I'm making to sort of introduce to anyone else like who's wondering if they should get the Division, who's thinking about getting it but not on the fence about it. You should get it. I'm just going to tell it right out. You should get it. It was really fun. Even if you get bored of it, it'll at least hold your attention for around 50 hours. That's the average that I'm seeing with my friends, and they weren't very eager to get the Division. I kind of forced them to get the Division, and so when they got the Division, they did. They played with it for a little bit, and then once they got to the higher levels, they started to find it a little more grindy than they liked, so they just kind of slowly stopped playing it. They're still playing it now. Like it's only been a week. I'm not saying they have quit it yet, but they've put in about 50 hours in 10 days. So that's good enough for me, all right? I think that's a good game. So I personally I find myself playing the game and just having fun with it. All right. So let's just get started. So I have a couple of windows open and I'll be reading off some complaints that both normal critics such as PC Gamer Magazine or stuff have complained about it, what they've thought is good, and I'll be reading some of the Steam reviews. Something noticeable that I found in the Steam reviews a lot is that people are very mad about the servers going down on the first day. And while I'm not going to make any excuses for Ubisoft, in this case they knew it was hyped about. They knew everyone wanted it. They obviously know how many people bought it, and knowing that they've made a game that relies on you connecting to a server whenever you play, they should have kept their servers in good shape. I'm not gonna make any excuses for them. However, keep in mind that it was the first day of launch. Everyone was playing it. I think it was the most played game on Steam for like around 30 minutes there, and every single person was on the server. When you play the Division, you have to connect to a server. If you do, you can't play it offline. It's like Black Ops. You can't play it offline. So knowing this, just cut them a little bit of slack. They're not quite used to that kind of full multiplayer experience yet, and they do have other games on their servers. I don't know exactly how their servers are set up, but do give them a bit of slack. Next, the graphics are amazing. I love the graphics. Love, love, love the graphics. I can't take that out. Another complaint that I'm seeing on both critics and just user reviews is that people don't like the enemies being bullet sponges. Now, I personally I do notice this a little bit. However, it's not as noticeable as you might seem when you're such like watching a video of the gameplay or etc., etc. It's not that noticeable. You'll find that sometimes you just have to run from cover to cover, pump a clip, and then run from cover to cover into just one enemy, but there are bosses and they're meant to be that way. If you're doing that for every single enemy that you find, then you need to upgrade your gear. And this is where I segue into the next section. A lot of people don't understand the numbers game that The Division is. The Division is an open world MMO. You might not see a lot of players if you're just playing the single player missions alone, but it is in a open world MMO, and it takes from MMOs in that you need the numbers game. The numbers game is where it starts to get in depth. This is where my friends have started to kind of stop playing it. They don't really like this numbers game. They like more FPS games like CS:GO or something like that. But noticing you have to take into account that you always need to upgrade your gear. There's not going to be, until you get to the top level, there's not going to be that one gun that's just OP. After every single level upgrade, your guns are going to be outdated, and you need to keep on finding more and more gear. And the game does not make this hard to give you guns and weapons and armor that levels with what you want, but if you want something higher, you're going to have to go to special boss battles or the Dark Zone. Now, the Dark Zone is where it's at. The Dark Zone is it's a huge part of this game. Dark Zone is where it has the best loot, but it also has the hardest enemies, and you have other players with you. Now, this brings in the survival aspect of the game that so many people love talking about. I'm not going to talk about it again because so many people have talked about it. Say that 3 times fast. But I find the Dark Zone to be a really interesting place. Like sometimes everyone in the Dark Zone lobby will just be they'll just be here for fun. They're here to be the passive players. Go around, get some loot, extract it, that's it. But there are some players they're here to hunt rogues, and there are some players they're here to kill regulars. Now, I'm not promoting the rogue kind of gameplay, but I'm putting it out there. It is extremely fun. Even if you're rogue alone, if you're rogue with friends, it doesn't matter. Being rogue is so fun. Now, I understand that some people might not get my take on being rogue, but that's okay. But just when you're with your friends and there's a manhunt for like three of you going on, you draw people into traps, you run around. It was intense, it was fun, immersive. It doesn't matter that you're pumping clips and clips into your enemies. Ammo conservation is a part, but they also give you a ton of ammo once you've gotten to that part, so it's not that big of a deal. Now, side missions are a bit tedious. Not gonna lie, I see that written here, I see that written on critic reviews. Side missions, yes, are tedious, but there's always a tedious part of an MMO. You're getting what seems like a blend between what I can describe as a blend between Fallout 4 with health aspects of Far Cry put into it, and then just the MMO part of World of Warcraft or Destiny just kind of crammed in. Like they pick and choose the best parts of all of these games, and while I admit that they don't mesh together, it's a great experiment and it's a unique game, and I think you should get it. I just need to put this out there. Enemies will be bland just because of the sheer amount of enemies that you have to encounter. Even if they put 10 factions in, you would memorize 10 factions within the top within the first 10 levels of your character, and then you would just kind of get bored of it. The most enjoyable missions that I've seen so far are the story missions, the dungeon missions, and the Dark Zone. That's going to be the place that you're really looking for the fun. There are some bugs, but I haven't encountered much. One of my friends has encountered a hair glitch, but he just restarted. It was good. I believe The Division is a great game. I believe that everyone should get it just as a good experience. Even if it's not your kind of game, just try it out. It's different from all the other games that I've seen so far, and I've played quite a few games. So just try it out, and in the meantime, I'll be farming in the Dark Zone. See you guys later.